Hello, my Virgo collective. This is Zaida Velgara from Becoming I Am here with your message for February 2026. I hope you enjoy it. So, thank you for everybody that's been liking, subscribing, following, sharing, commenting. You guys are great. I love you guys all for that loving support that you give to this channel and to myself. So, thank you for that. I hope you receive the blessings that you're sending this way in return. Now, for all your newcomers, let me just give you the 411. I like astrology, so in the beginning, I always start with oracle decks and the astrological events that will be happening in the month. I usually pick 4, and then how it will influence you specifically. Secondly, I end out the whole thing with a little tarot pool, like a triangle, a pyramid, so that we can give some additional information. And lastly, I usually like to do messages for the zodiac signs once a month just because TMI is TMI. Sometimes we go in too many directions at one time and we can self-sabotage. So I only give one message. Random messages here and there, but just one message for the zodiac sign for the month. All right? Just so that you know what's going on. The first thing that we're going to be looking at, the 13th of February, all the way to April 12th, 2028, Saturn will be in Aries. This is a combination of discipline, organization, and stick to itiveness with the energy of your identity. I feel like you are forming a new identity for yourself, Virgo, like a new you. And it's kind of like the to like start from scratch and make it the way you want it. Yeah, and then I'm hearing because a lot of your life has been influenced by like other people and it's your turn to do it your way. And now I'm hearing I'm actually seeing, the movie Sing and the little mouse singing Have It My Way. and the and the helicopter is coming down and he's being flown very far away, but he held on until he finished the entire song. um that's what this reminds me of. You're gonna hang on until you finish the entire song. Yeah, I mean, okay, let me just go down the line. The first thing is Bridget, inner peace. And with the inner peace and Bridget, I also looked her up and she's the Celtic goddess of poetry, of healing, fertility, and craftsmanship. And I think that you're healing yourself, but you're also crafting yourself, like creating a new version of yourself. The second one is Saraswati, and it's enlightenment because you're waking up. And see, she's singing too. It's like it feels very much like your frequency is shifting. Oh, that gave me chills. Yeah, your frequency is changing. And then we have Ischil. I love Ischil, mind you, and it's reinvention. In legit, it feels like a new version of you, and you're gonna do it your way, like the mouse and Sing. And there will be turbulent airs, and things are going to try to push you out of your way, but you're going to hold on to that mic and just sing the entire song to the crazy end and the best action ever. That's what this feels like. And you're going to get away with it too. That's what it feels like. That's so crazy. I just heard that. And you're going to get away with it too. Um, then we have on the 17th of February, the solar eclipse in Aquarius and the new moon in Aquarius. We will not see the solar eclipse if you're anywhere close to the center of the United States. It's on the other side of the world, but still the magnetic pull is there and it will affect us. And it literally feels like ripping off the Band-Aid. And then the new moon feels like raw land with nothing on it, and then just sprinkling something on top so something new can grow out of it. So, but it just feels like ripping off the Band-Aid. Let's see what this is all about. Oh, that was crazy. It came out the top. Spirit guides. Oof. May I say mediumship possible here? Be careful with that, because I met a couple of people that was not their calling. They wanted to do it And they just wanted to do it because they wanted to be special, I guess. And spirits are no joke. You can't just call one kind, because once you open the door, everything can swim in. So you have to be conscious of that. But it feels like some kind of mediumship or spirit guides connecting with you. Different spirit guides in this eclipse. So it does feel like ripping off the Band-Aid and then new guides coming in. That's interesting. Wait a second, because I want to see if that's going to affect you. Like, because whenever we get new spirit guides, like all of a sudden, like we go through a period of like blank space where we don't hear anything. Bulldog. I think this is good because you're going to get protected. You're still protected. The crown is backwards, as the tower, the gold tower, is across from it. So, okay. From me closest is the closest thing that's going to happen. To me far away, the farthest thing is going to happen, right? And the closest thing for me is a a horseshoe, and it's gold, so it's talking about the spiritual realm. So you've got the luck of the draw when it comes to the spirit realm. So in other words, they chose you for something. And then what happens with that choice, and this feels further along, like a few months along, we have your crown, and this is an earth crown, and it says princess. Princess. So I'm feeling like you're going from princess to like emperor energy, okay? So princess crown backwards is talking about the princess crown falling off of you. Then we have the Eiffel Tower. For me, it's the tower, and it's gold. And this is talking about breaking tower connection, right? So not receiving anything for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, look at this. We get the bulldog, and it is silver. So this is in the physical world. You become stronger in the physical world because of the fact that you're not going to the tower connection is going to come off with whatever spirit guide you had. Now that really freaks me out. So are you going to get another one? Yeah, there will be another connection. So, but there's like steps to this, okay? It feels like your Band-Aid is being ripped off. The spiritual team that you're going to have is going to be, you're going to be flying solo for a while, but you're going to have spiritual protection. And then a new connection is coming, probably around the summer. Just because we're shifting poles during the eclipse. So if you're part of the people that receive my emails weekly about the astrology, you would know, because I sent out one for for 2026, that there's big astrological events happening this year. And one of them is the switching of the poles. I think it's in June or July, one of the two. And it's going to change the way the eclipses work because they're on different signs and in opposite sides. So anyways, that I think is probably going to be when you get the new one, because when I said that, you see how there's two of them? So it feels like the switching of the poles. You're the only one I talked to that about, so that must be influencing you strongly. Okay, next thing. Saturn in Aries conjuncts Neptune in Aries February 20th. This day is important because it's considered the Great Reset, or the world point. And it's a shifting your identity. The last time this happened was in 89, and it was in the sign of Sagittarius, and that totally flipped upside down and backwards our educational systems, right? The way that we learn, the way that we perceive learning, etc. That's like the big reforms around that time because of that turning point when it came to Sagittarian. But this is Aries. And the last time it happened in Aries, according to some astrologers and other astrologers and whatever, and nobody can really make up their mind, but somewhere around 2,000 to 5,000 years ago. Okay. This one is a change of identity. I am no longer this, I am that. I am no longer light, I am dark. I am no longer yin, I am yang. I am no longer illiterate, I am educated. You know, that kind of stuff. I'm no longer religious. I am atheist. You know, one of those things. And then shifting all the structures around you because now you're something completely different, which makes a lot of sense, especially with this change of your spirit guides. So you must have finished the assignment for whatever it is that you did up to now. This is weird. For you, I feel like I want to use these for this. And they told me 3. 2 to 3 will decide. And decide. Okay. And that ended up being 3. Look at this. We have the 8 of Swords. Losing sleep because ghosts follow you, right? The Sun card. And it's interesting because it looks like a corn maze and you're stuck in the middle of the corn maze. And then there's the Wheel of Fate with the 10 of Wands. And these are 10 fingers. They're wands here represented by 10, like hands, these being the wands, the actions you're taking, right? But there's really only 4 individuals, north, south, east, west, right? Or earth, water, wind, fire. Earth, water, wind, fire. Yes. And it's the Wheel of Fortune. This is so weird. Okay. Virgo, you're tripping me out, Virgo. That's all I'm going to say. And then we have the 9 of Wands. And the guy is coming with a door to the house that doesn't have a door. This is interesting. Remember how I told you you're changing spirit guides? This room is getting fucking freezing. Just a side note, okay? And when I said that it was 12:21 in my time here, remember how I said you're switching spirit guides, and I said that happened the 17th, and this is happening in the 20th, and I feel like from the 17th to the 20th, you're gonna feel haunted, okay? And these can be your thoughts. These can be actual spirits. These can be people around you. I don't know. Just feeling attacked and cornered, right? But the real truth is the Sun card. And the Sun card is you were always in the middle of the maze to begin with. Like you were always stuck in a game. Now you're starting to realize it. And the Wheel of, this one feels very esoteric, mind you. And then the Wheel of Fortune feels like now you will have the opportunity to choose what element will be the next one you will embody. If the earth element, if the water, if the fire, if the wind. And then once it does, then they seal you up there again. Like you'll be in that energy again for a while, going through this 9-year cycle until you master this element. So I don't know what element you just mastered in this last 9-year cycle. I heard wind and water. So the majority of the people that I'm talking to right now, they mastered wind and water in this last 9-year cycle. And in this next 9-year cycle, you will either go again through the wind or water if you want to, or you're going to master earth or fire. If you mastered wind and water, that means that you mastered connecting to your spirit guide. And now that you've mastered the mind power to be able to connect to your spirit guides, because spirit guides, to have a connection to spirit guides, you need to have control of your mind. Like there is so much intrusive electrical fields here on earth and people manipulating their abilities that's the first thing you control, your mind. And then the waters is you control your mind through your emotions because you control your emotions. It's not that you don't feel them. That's narcissistic and you're under somebody else's control. I'm talking about you let them feel, you allow yourself to let them feel, you allow yourself to feel them and then let them flow through you. This is the problem when they're telling me things too fast, like I can't get the words out. And so then you become a mentalist, right? The ability to control your mind, especially in the dream state, because that's usually the hardest part. And so that seems to be controlled. And the wheel of fate is kind of like, I feel like I'm playing Russian roulette to see where I land. And so that we can either go through the cycle again, or if we feel like we need to refine it, or we step into a new level of that same cycle, or we go and you try something completely new. This feels very interesting. Somebody here, their life is going to change because their focus will be on something completely different. And when it comes to magic, let me make it 3D for you, okay? So if I'm talking about, oh, somebody's going to master spirits, blah, 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 all this stuff, that means a person is going to be strong of mind and determined and clear of mind, so they're not easily swayed by people's opinions. If a person is really strong in the earth element, you will use your resources correctly so that they can last for a long period of time, be it people, be it money. If you're mastering the energies of fire, then you are mastering your anger and your masculine energy in what you should push your passions through, right? So that you can make it happen. You are also controlling your sexual energy, your passion energy, because you're using it to channel it in things you want instead of frivolously throwing it away in different places. You see, so these are things that I'm telling you when it comes to magic. But magic is not different than 3D world because this is a 3D reality, slow and steady and heavy. But that doesn't mean it necessarily isn't the other one too. Okay? It's all like the art of the spin. Um, this is going to be a really interesting turning point for you because whatever you decide will decide a fate. You remember those books back in the day that in the bottom it says, so Johnny climbs the hill. And if you want Johnny to climb the hill, go to page 69. Um, Johnny decides to sit where he is and wait for the other people. If you're thinking Johnny should stay in the same spot, go to page 100. You know, one of those things. That's what this is reminding me of, like pick your journey. Um, but once you're there, once it's chosen, the door will be closed so that you can finish that 9-year cycle. 9-year cycle is true here. And it's interesting because I got 8, 9, 10 on here. So that you can get to the sun, which is 19. Okay, next, because we get stuck on that one for way too long. Mercury retrograde. It will be taking place on February 26th through March 20th on the sign of Pisces. This one has to do with some kind of, I want to say internal war or civil war, because it does feel confrontational. Look at that. 9 is important for you. I got another freaking 9. Can you believe that? And it says responding, not reacting. The only control we have is in how we respond to the hand we are dealt. This is interesting because I feel like somebody here is going through, I want to call it an initiation, right? Where when I see this card, it's like, well, I made this choice, so this is the direction I'm going to go, and it's going to be hard in the beginning, but I'm going to have to figure this shit out. That's what this feels like. It's interesting. Your energy is interesting because it feels like you're being, I heard discovered. Is that weird? Look, I split the deck on the Magician. Oh, you can't see it. Look, right there. The Magician. That's crazy. Especially since this is year number 1 in the year of the Magician. All right, tell me about, what else do we have to tell my Virgos? Virgo energy again, Queen of Pentacles. Tower card. Your stability is going to change. King of Swords. Shut up. The Emperor and the Magician came out again. Page of Wands. Okay, look at the bottom of the deck. We have the 10 of Wands, okay? I don't think February is going to be easy for you because the 10 of Wands for me is talking about, should I take on all these burdens and go in the direction that I'm feeling driven to go to, or should I not? I'm sitting here contemplating on a plan going forward. This is, I want to say, the Virgo's downfall. Trying to plan every freaking detail before they move forward. Let me see if you're going to do something. But you're going to move forward. I got the sun under it after that, okay? What I'm seeing is that you have sat in the same situation, the same position for a very long time. The reason why you sat there is because it was safe. The money was safe, the resources were safe, the environment was safe. You kind of knew it. It kind of sucks sometimes, but it is what it is. At least you're safe. But you're deciding to break this whole thing down because I want to say the person that was in control in this safe space, you no longer identify with. Right? So this can be like, I no longer like my boss. I no longer like my partner. I no longer like the state that I live in. I no longer, because the people that run it are stupid. Things like that. So it's kind of like you're breaking this whole thing down because between these two people, between the Queen of Pentacles that is practical and has to think things a million times over before she makes a decision, is the Tower and the King of Swords. And the thing about the King of Swords is that this King of Swords is not the regular King of Swords. He's the before tarot or the after one, right? I can't remember. But do you see how the crown is in the ground? That's talking about your head. And the sword is through it. So your mind is stuck in the way the world works. So whoever you're dealing with, like, that you're breaking away from because you're kind of over it, right? It's business as usual. Like they're consistent. They do the same thing because it works. They don't want to change things. They don't want to evolve. They don't want to move, etc. And so what I'm seeing after that is the energy of the Emperor with the Magician. And it feels like you taking ownership and responsibility and control over your life, which again is that energy of Saturn in Aries and Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries, so that you can create something different for yourself because you're over it and you're leaving them behind and going into something else. I don't see you super happy about it. Do you see this face? He's kind of sad because there is some fear because there is much of this. Like a lot of burdens you're going to take on running solo or going somewhere else or doing whatever. Okay. With the Sun card, I know you're going to be happy because it follows the Three of Cups. Super, super happy. Like being around like-minded people, being in environments that really work for you. And I do see the energy of the happy family. Maybe not so happy all the time because right after it, we have the King of Cups and he's pouring away his cup. And then after that, the Seven of Swords and the guy is being caught. So I am saying that you're feeling happy in the new environment and the changes and whatever, but you're also not naive to the fact that, I mean, shit happens sometimes and not everything is butterflies and rainbows all the time because this is Earth and that's how things roll here, right? But yes, to the point where you're like, man, I think I should have done that a long time ago, but you needed to get to the spot that you were in right now to be able to do that. And it all has to do with, I want to say, the changing of the guards, because I do feel like your spiritual team is changing and that is going to create the ripple effect of the changes that are coming into your life. There's a lot more going on in the 5D than you can see. And that stuff affects us more than we even know. So that being said, I wanted to pull out an affirmation for you. So let's see what comes out. In the back, there's like journaling stuff, things that you can think of so that you have a little exercise. Okay, I was looking at this for a minute because I was saying, what the hell is this? Okay, it says, I have the power to influence the course of my day. See, this is what I'm saying. It's like this for me feels like you taking control of your life. Here's that. And then in the back it says, if I am having a bad day, how do I turn it around? And then it says, how can I navigate my daily life with purpose and intention? So I feel like, the thing that Virgos like to do most, reorganize, right? There's a need to reorganize your thoughts, your processes. Sometimes they call it cognitive restructuring, where you kind of like do a little wordplay with yourself and call something else. I mean, see it in a different angle, whatever it is that you feel conflict about, right? And then from there, then give yourself the potential to move in a new direction. I think somebody's changing their minds is changing their lives because they're finally getting to the point where they feel like something has been limiting them. Oh, this hurts my arm. Has been limiting them and they're ready to move on from that. I hope you understand what that means. Because it feels a little vague, but I think it depends on your life. This can be all kinds of stuff, but there's something that might be embodied in a person that is a safety net, right? Where it feels safe because it's routine, but it limits you more than it helps you. Anyways, I hope you understand the message. Thank you so much for coming here till the end, and we'll see you next month.